welcome to another edition of a Lowcountry Sports Report. As always, I'm here joined by Justin Jared. And Justin, we had ourselves a busy weekend last weekend. You know, the Heritage was here. Great time, great event. What did you think of it this year?
Yeah, I mean, always one of the best weeks of the year to be a sports fan and especially a sports writer around these parts. But it was a great tournament. I mean, you know, we didn't get the big name winner that it looked like we might get going into that final round. You had Dustin Johnson and Ian Poulter in the final pairing. You had some big names on the leaderboard like Matt Kuchar, and you thought, well, maybe this is, you know, it's been a while since we had a big name winner. But no, it was a name you maybe didn't recognize if you're not a big golf fan. But C.T. Pan played phenomenal golf all week, and especially on Sunday, chased down the leaders and then hung on at the end when we all kind of thought maybe he would crack at the finish. And you know, you look into his background, and he's an interesting guy. He's had great success at every level. Was a four-time All-American in college at Washington, and the #1 amateur in the world for a while, and hasn't yet really had that breakout in the professional ranks, but you can see the game there, and especially on the shorter courses like Harbortown, he's going to be a factor for years to come. He's a great player.
C.T. Pan, really one of those players that went under the radar in this tournament, because I remember last year during the tournament, going into the fourth day, he was one of the leaders. Like, he knows this course, he plays it really well, and you know, we had Roger Clark on last week for you, and he described the best type of player for this course is a finesse player. And that's really what C.T. Pan is. You know, C.T. Pan's not going to DJ it. He's not going to go up there and hit 5,000 yards. But he's really very logical how he plays, and just great approach, and it worked out for him. So also, you mentioned Matt Kuchar. You know, he almost came up there at the end. I was really excited. I was on number 18. Kuchar comes in, hits a big birdie, does a nice big fist pump, and then C.T. Pan birdies the next hole and pretty much wins the tournament. But I was able to catch up with both of them after their rounds, so I put together a little video for you guys. We're going to go over to Harbortown and watch them discuss their final round.
It was so much fun getting in the mix in the back nine here on Sunday. Listen, that back nine, I was really enjoying myself. I mean, it was stressful golf. The wind was up. It was tricky to try to figure everything out, but to get in the mix, to have a chance to be playing some good golf, make a couple birdies, it really was a lot of fun at that back nine today. Such a thrill for me. I thought getting to 11 might be good enough. I knew how tough 16, 17, 18 were playing. I thought 11 may get in a playoff, but hats off to C.T. Pan. Those are tough holes. He played awfully steady and solid golf.
You know, I've been out here for 3 years, and so I've played, I don't know, 470 events. So I've witnessed 70 winners, and I just kept dreaming that maybe one day it's me, and this day does come true. So it means a lot to me. It's a very heavy trophy, you know. I feel my arms are kind of sore, but it's a good feeling to have, and it's making me speechless right now because it's just how hard. I've been working so hard for this moment, and it finally comes true for me as my dream, and I'm just going through a lot of emotions right now. I'm just happy I got a W on my bag, and you know, just being able to put in my name with all the great names in the history. That's the biggest honor I've ever had. First one is always a special one, so I'll definitely remember this moment forever.
I had a great time catching up with both of those golfers. But JJ, now let's go from professional to high school. And we've had some tennis playoffs coming up. I mean, playoffs coming up for almost every sport. But tennis, 2 region winners that we know of were Buford High School and May River High School. Do you want to give us a little preview of what to expect for the upcoming playoffs?
Yeah, in 4A, Buford High, of course, we talked about a couple weeks ago, winning the region after splitting with Hilton Head High. I think both those teams are really strong and have a shot to make a good run in the playoffs, so we'll be keeping an eye on them the next couple of weeks. Could even meet each other potentially in the lower state final if all goes well. And then May River High School, the region champ in 3A, so they'll get a first round bye and be in action next week as well. So the tennis playoffs heating up, and and of course we'll be keeping an eye on the Skeeza teams when they start their tennis playoffs as well.
Of course, some great tennis action in the Lowcountry. But now let's go from the court to the field. And a pretty big story in girls soccer right now is Bluffton High School absolutely stunning Hilton Head High School on Monday night by a score of 4-0, and then won the region last night, beating Beaufort High School 1-0. You know, this is really a team. 2 new coaches. Brittany Pacifico, actually their assistant coach, was a USCB player. So, you know, they both come in and they made a huge impact right off the bat. I mean, just for you, what do you think of this type of performance, Val?
Yeah, it's very impressive. I mean, you look at their early season results, and they were doing fine, but, you know, their overall record is still just right around 500. But the way they've come on here in region play and to avenge that earlier loss to Hilton Head High, which is, you know, a powerhouse that competes for state championships every year, that's good stuff. And so Bluffton, you know, showing some very impressive results here late. Don't know how it will translate into the postseason. You know, I mean, it's tough when you go up against those Columbia schools and some of the Myrtle Beach area schools, but they've shown, you know, Hilton Head High, again, that's a team that's been there before, won many state championships, including last year. So for them to come out and beat them, not just beat them, but beat them bad, 4-0, very impressive for Bluffton, and shows that maybe they've got some potential to do some damage in the playoffs.
You know, I think it's just wonderful for that, you know, that whole program. You know, I mean, I'm not too familiar with how Bluffton soccer, girls soccer was last season, but from the take I'm getting from it is it seems like they were not that great, and now they're region champions.
Yeah, they've taken a big step forward, and what's really impressive is you look at, you know, we talk about this a good bit in every sport, but Bluffton High May River split 3 years ago. Yeah. May River also region champs in 3A. So just think about how much talent there is in Bluffton for both of those teams to win region championships. And if you put those teams together and had them at one high school, man, that would be a dangerous squad right there.
Yeah, Bluffton's really a soccer town. And now let's go to the boys. And May River, back in the playoffs, and they're ready to go too.
Yeah, they're still rolling along. They've been beating people bad, and you know they knocked off Hilton Head High 5-0 in non-region game, and then they're finishing up region play against Battery Creek, which should not be too much trouble for them. But they're going to be #1 seed. They are, you know, state championship or bust pretty much for them. They're shooting for the sky. They'll have some tough competition along the way. Bishop England got them last year, and that's a very tough team. So they're going to have their work cut out for them, but they definitely have the talent to go a long ways in the playoffs. And again, Bluffton High School region champs in Region 7 4A. So again, the Bluffton talent just shining through when it comes to soccer. Just a lot of really good players in the area.
Yeah, it's going to be something that's going to be really looking forward for everybody to watch that and see how these playoffs unfold. But we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Matt Watts, and we're going to talk some Park and Rec. You're watching the Lowcountry Sports Report.
Series. There's a smash to right field. That ball is way back. Gone. Nico Lang. So Beaufort County home run shot over the right.
And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. And now it's that time of the week, joined with Matt Watts to talk some Park and Rec. How you been, brother?
Been good, man. Been good. Had a good week last week. Went to the Heritage for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got a little sun. It was great weather, and well, except for Friday, but had a really good time.
Nice.
Ready to get back going with spring sports.
So let's talk about your spring sports. Been keeping you busy?
Oh yeah, especially this week. We just got started with soccer and flag football. You know, games started getting going on both in Beaufort and Bluffton, and we also our adult softball league began this week as well. So got a lot going on. Got a lot of maintaining going on with the fields and getting fields dragged and lined, but we're looking forward to it. All the kids are like they're having a good time along with the adults.
So now, do you have any big registration dates coming up that we should all look out for?
Yeah, absolutely. We're still registering for our summer sports programs with high school boys lacrosse, and then along with our summer basketball program. But we do have some camp stuff coming up. Hopefully May 1st, that's when we're going to start registering for some camps. We're looking for some beginner lacrosse camps we're going to have this summer. Going to try to have a beginner soccer camp, and we always host our challenger soccer camps, which are both in Beaufort and Bluffton. It's more for more advanced players. Challenger Soccer is a big organization, nationwide organization that they've been doing soccer camps across the country for years. So we have them in 2 types of camps for everyone in June and in July. They've been posted on our website for a long time. So if anybody's interested, especially kids that have played soccer for a long time, those would be good camps for those guys.
Now with these camps, are the camps meant to enhance the player's skills? Is that pretty much what the camp is for?
Right. Our beginner camps that we're trying to have with our lacrosse, and then with we're going to try to have a beginner soccer. It's for younger kids.
It's more
to
of
just
an
come
introduction
out.
in the
Right,
sport.
week-long camp for kids to come and have a good time. But the Challenger Soccer camp is more for development. Helping the more advanced players keep advancing their skills. I guess you could say, get ready for high school play and whatnot.
That's really cool. I mean, it's awesome that you're catering towards them. They're getting into the sport through these camps, and also for some players who want to go into high school, these camps give them skills that'll benefit them on their high school teams.
No, absolutely. Recreation has changed over the years. We're still much about having fun, kids playing, kids being healthy, being active. But there's a time now that there's a lot of the younger generation wants to advance their skills and wants to develop a lot more. So you have to, it's no different than providing for adults and providing programs for youth, providing programs for seniors and whatnot. You have to provide programs for both the recreational players along with the more developed players.
Now let's switch over to your facility in Buckwalter. Every week I like to highlight an aspect of it, and this time is going to be the basketball courts. Whenever we go there, if there's any sort of meeting or for any reason we have to go to your facility, I always see people on the basketball courts.
Right.
Is that one of the most popular activities that you guys offer?
Oh, absolutely, especially after 4 o'clock when school gets out, along with when after 5 when more of the professionals get off work and they still want to be real active. Man, our courts are packed usually from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock whenever we close. But at Buckwalter we have 4 full-size basketball courts at like you said, at any time basically during the day, at least 1 to 2 of them are being used. We also have volleyball lines on those courts that we do have a seniors group that comes in the morning hours on Tuesday and Thursday, and they play volleyball during the day. So we get a lot of use out of our basketball courts, and we also have a basketball court over here at the Burton Wells Recreation Center in Beaufort, which we're hopefully in the next month or so going to get that completely refinished, redone. It's time to do a lot of work to that court.
That's awesome. It's really cool to see the youth take advantage of something like that and really enjoy it. But now let's finish up on the really busy upcoming schedule we have, and we have some big tournaments at Oscar Frazier, I understand, in July.
That's right. Yeah, July 12th to the 17th, we'll host the Dixie Youth Baseball Ozone State Tournament. We'll have 16 teams, which 15 of them will be from around the state, and we'll have 1 host team. But it's a very well played tournament. It's for 11 and 12-year-olds that the leagues that are governed by Dixie Youth in the state. Really looking forward to it. There'll be a lot of people in the area. We'll have a really good time. And then we actually have the following week, we have the Dixie Junior Boys and Dixie Boys State Tournament, which will be for 13 and 14-year-olds. The Junior Boys is just 13-year-olds. The Dixie Boys are 13 and 14-year-olds. So there'll be probably upwards of 20 to 24 teams at that tournament, with majority of them coming from outside of Beaufort County. So it's great to have those fans, parents, patrons, whatever you want to call them, coming into our community, spending money. It's great for the economy. But we also just love hosting these tournaments because they're fun. They're not always fun to plan, but when the tournament gets here, we usually have a good time. I know you guys always come out and they all do a great job.
We were commentating until 1:30 in the morning last year. That's
right. Well, hopefully that's not going to happen.
Well, Matt, we're going to keep up with these tournaments for the next coming weeks, and keep you guys updated, the teams that are coming, and all that you have to know. But that's going to do it for now. When we come back, JJ and I will be breaking down some local sports. You're watching the Lowcountry Sports Report. And welcome back to the Lowcountry Sports Report. Justin, the show's wrapping up like crazy, but we're still here, and we got some USCB to talk about. Not too much, but some important stuff coming up over at Sandshark Lands. Track and field getting ready to go. They're actually hosting the Sun Conference tournament at Savannah State. You know, me and former SID Mike Manning went out there last year, and we had a really good time. Beautiful facility. You know, Bernard Gaither always does a wonderful job of planning tournaments and events, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be a good time out. They got some great athletes that we should all look out for. You know, one in particular from the ladies is Faith Calloway. You know, she's put up some top 10 results lately, and wonderful runner. And for you, like, what do you think of these type of tournaments that USCB puts on, like these Sun Conference events?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually never attended the Sun Conference Championships, but track meets, college track meets are awesome.
They're fun.
I mean, they really are, and the track and field in the Sun Conference is excellent. There's a high caliber of athletes there. USCB's been very strong the last couple of years. The women are, I believe, 2-time defending champions, so they're going to try to hang on to that Sun Conference title, and the men going to try to make a run at it as well. But that's one of the sports where that conference has gotten stronger and stronger in recent years, and there'll be some top-level talent on display over there in Savannah.
Oh, absolutely. Now let's go over to baseball. Not really too much going on in baseball. They're actually wrapping up. They're about done. Bit of a rebuilding season, you know, but there were some positives, though. The hitting came up big at times. You know, Bobby Wenthe had a really good season, bunch of homers. Eamon Collins threw a no-hitter. So, you know, they're going to go back in the summer. Coach Bam going to try to regroup and put together a playoff team for next year. However, the ladies, softball, they're going to the conference playoffs. You know, they were in action this past weekend and took 1 of the 2 against Weber. But more importantly, Sloan Ducey threw another no-hitter. She's been absolutely on fire.
Yeah, and they have the pitching to do some damage. You know, it's always tough when you get into the postseason if you only really have one pitcher, and she's got to throw 4 or 5 games in a conference tournament, maybe see the same team 2 or 3 times. That gets tough, but they've got enough depth with the pitching staff that they may be able to do some damage there and maybe get back into the NAIA opening round this year.
It's going to be really cool to see what Bailey Witness can do with that team. But now let's go over to high school baseball, and playoffs starting. May River already in action, won their first playoff game of the season. Yeah,
May River and Hilton Head High both won their first game. Hilton Head High in dramatic fashion. Stratton Politzer with a walk-off grand slam to beat Aiken. They were down going to the 7th, and he hits a grand slam to win it. So that's an exciting win for them. They had a tough second round matchup at North Myrtle Beach. So you know, at filming they had not played that one yet, so that's going to be a tough one for them. But winning that first one is so big in that double elimination tournament, because then you're just 2 wins away from moving on to the next round. Whereas if you lose that first one, like Buford High did, Whale Branch did, Battery Creek did,
it makes it tough.
Bluffton did as well. They all lost that first one. You've got to win 4 in a row to get to onto the next round. So Buford High, you know, region champs, #1 seed, but they're in a little bit of trouble after losing 1-0 to Brooklyn Casey. They're going to have their work cut out to have to come all the way back through and then beat Brooklyn Casey twice to advance. So it's going to be interesting next week to watch those tournaments play out.
You know, May River really one of those teams that's been a great powerhouse almost in every sport, but always loved their baseball program, really liked their coach, so I went to their game and caught up with them afterwards and just talked to them about their success and what do they have to do to become state champions this season. So we're going to go over to May River High School. We're going to go talk with the Sharks baseball team.
I think last year probably helped a lot on us, you know, with that senior group that we had, kind of really set the mold for what we want to be as a program. And since then, these guys have really picked it up. Again, you know, got a lot of good senior leadership, Josh Patterson, Cam Gleason, Josh Reddy, a lot of those guys. And then we've had some newcomers that have really welcomed their role, like John Pezzaturo at second base, and it's been really good for us.
I mean, they bring a lot of wisdom to these young guys. They were in situations like this last year. They practice hard. Again, I know I've said that a lot, but they practice really hard. And just on and off the field, they do a great job of showing the young guys what it's going to take to take May River to what we want it to be.
Going forward, we just got to keep on remembering the things that got us here. You know, we can't try to go out there and be somebody that we're not. We've got to be the players that we are. Keep on trusting ourselves, trust the effort, the practice that we put into our play, and then when it goes out there, you know, believe in ourselves and see what happens.
stick to what we do. We've got to keep coming out. We've got to have a great practice tomorrow. We've got to keep grinding and keep scratching and clawing. At the end of the day, they're going to be the ones out there making the plays, getting the hits, doing what they need to do to win. But they do a great job. They work really hard.
I think this is a very special place. It started out from the very first year when we got here with our principal, Todd Bornschower, and our athletic director, Brett Macy. They really brought in the guys and the cult that they wanted to have as a good culture here. And it's really carried over together. We all enjoy being around each other. We hang out. We support each other throughout the season. It's never going to be, somebody's always going to be at another game supporting those guys or girls whenever they're out there playing. So it's, I think that's just carried over. Players and our students have seen that, and I think that's just kind of what's led to our success overall.
I mean, all these guys have buddies that, a lot of our guys play multiple sports also. And that's a big thing that everybody pulls for everybody. Everybody's all in. We're all in this thing together, and they pull for each other.
Absolutely. Like I said, we all want to do it the right way, but at the end of the day, we want to be successful on and off the field, and winning championships is part of that success. And thankfully, baseball's been able to contribute to that the last 2 years with back-to-back region championships. And we're certainly hoping to keep a whole lot more coming our way.
I had a great time with the Sharks baseball team, JJ. They're a dominating team, and I really think they're going to go far this season, or this playoffs rather. But now let's go from one playoff to another. Softball playoffs start in. A lot of good softball teams in this area. Do you want to do a little preview for us?
Yeah, well, we're in an awkward stage as we film because only one team has started the playoffs so far. May River actually lost 10-1 to Chiraw on Wednesday night. They gave up 9 runs in the first inning and just couldn't dig out of that hole. So unfortunate for them. They got some work to do to get back in it. But Battery Creek is really the team we're going to be watching. In this postseason, they've had a great season, and they're trying to get back to that lower state championship again. And they definitely have the team to do it. They've got 4 seniors who are going to play college ball, so already, and possibly more who will go on and play at the next level. So very strong team for Battery Creek. That's the team I'd keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think Chris Carr did a wonderful job there of front-loading the schedule, making them play some very tough competition at front. And I think that's really put them in a chance of doing well. And, you mentioned they have players like Mackenzie Young and Emily Crosby. There's some seniors that have been producing all season long, and, those are the true leaders of that team. And it was cool. I was able to catch up with them, and they seemed like a really good group. They seemed really focused. And I would make that as my pick as the one team that's really going to stand out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. Alexis Ortiz as well. She got hit pretty hard by some really good teams early in the year, but I think that made her really focus on trying to develop some different pitches and stuff, and learn how she has to attack more better hitting teams. Because that's what she's going to face deeper in the playoffs. So I think they're battle tested. They're ready for the postseason.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch out for. But now, as always, we always end with golf. Not as much golf as it's going to be in the past, but JT Herman, back at it again, man. That kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, he shot 67, which is 500 at Berkeley Hall on Wednesday to win another tournament. That kid is unbelievable. I think he's going to be probably the next one that is like a Bryson Nimmer for us. So. Nimmer, third at the ACC championships last week, so another impressive performance for him. He's playing awesome. Great golf. Looking forward to seeing him out on the pro tours soon. And then and we've got some more professional golf.
Some more
coming
tournaments.
JJ. Yeah, the PGA Professionals Championship coming to Belfair starting Sunday and going into early next week, and that's a cool event. It's not PGA Tour, it's PGA Professionals. These are our club pros, but these are the club pros who can really play. And 312 players from around the country, including 2 from South Carolina. One of them is Matt Bova, who's recently moved from Bluffton to Charleston. He was in Bluffton for a number of years, and he played in it last year out in California, playing in it here in a home game at Berkeley or at Belfair, a course that I'm sure he knows very well. And the top 20 qualify for the PGA Championship. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on Matt, and hopefully he can make it. And he's played in the Heritage a time or two, but it'd be really cool for him to make it to the PGA Championship.
Most definitely. I'm going to be out there and probably get maybe an interview. We'll see what happens, but definitely get some highlights and keep you guys informed about that. But that's going to do it for us, JJ. Thank you so much as always, man. But until next week, you've been watching the Lowcountry Sports Report. Take care.
Hey, I'm Tony Hawk, and you're watching the County Channel.
Today's the sixth annual, Derby. We run this every year. It's probably one of our most exciting events we do every year with the kid participation included. So I know the kids that do come out here and participate, they have a blast doing it. For me, in the county, I know it's huge because it's the first time we get to do it with the new stadium complete. So that's a big accomplishment, a big step forward for this complex. What Clarence Morgan really does and his staff to really make this day run, as well as my foundation staff. They do a great job.
It's our first time today actually hosting an event in the Josh Reddick Stadium, so that's pretty cool for us. And like I said, this is one of the events that Josh started, so I think that makes it a little bit more personal for us too, and for him to come out here and interact with the youth and the baseball side of things. I think it's something super cool for the kids to actually get to do with him. So that's awesome for us.
This stems back to the very first one I started out in Rincon. I didn't even have a foundation run. I think it was just me and a buddy of mine that was helping out at the time. So we went to the city of Rincon and approached it. We made it happen. It wasn't a big success yet, but that's how the things are with your first time. But it was something I always wanted to do, I believe, and I think this was always the first step to the first event to giving back to this county, and here we are, and it's one of our bigger ones.
All the money stays local for sure. 100% all goes back into the hometown that Josh and I were raised in. So it's super cool for both of us to be able to have a hand in something so special like that too. So.
Right now, we don't really have a set destination for it. Our big thing is we don't plan on one thing. We dish it out wherever it's needed. We sponsor the Navigator team, we sponsor the Faith Equestrian team, we've sponsored the Trutland House. Those are our three big hitters, I think. But we stretch it out to schools, we stretch it out fire department, police department, animal shelters, anywhere that needs help, they can contact us, and we're willing to take your phone call.
Anybody that I think if you have a chance or have the time to give back, I think you should. So, and the platform that we have created and have, I think it's awesome for us to be able to do what we do.
You give back to where you came from. This is where it all started. This is your roots, and this is what made you. This is how everything started for you. And these kids are our future. They're our next generation of running this planet, and that stems from right here in your hometown. We got to start somewhere small, and anytime you can help these kids out, whether it be 1 to 10 kids, and if they come out of it in a positive manner, then you feel pretty accomplished about it. So that's the main reason. Anything about that, and we see some of the older generation, people my age and older, coming out here and doing that as well. So it's for everybody, and we definitely get participants that we enjoy having. Hey all, thanks for coming to my 6th annual 2018 Home Run Derby. We appreciate your support.